Hey guys, I'm Danny, your friendly neighborhood colorist, and in this video, I'm very excited to introduce you to my visionary base LUTs, which are meant for camera log profiles like Sony S-Log2, S-Log3 or Fujifilm F-Log. So the idea behind these LUTs is to make it super convenient and super simple to achieve the quote-unquote cinematic colors that you would expect from Hollywood cinema cameras like RE with one click if possible. Or if you're a professional and you want to get more out of the footage that you're grading, these can be used as a base LUT to give you a very good start in order to enhance your grade even more. So there's this feature in my LUTs which is exposure compensation that included a few exposure steps in order to compensate for your footage, whether it's brighter or it's darker. So I'll show you that in a demo later, so let's get into it. So I have a few clips over here in my color tab. They are all shot on my Sony FX3, which is a 10-bit Sony camera. But if you are using something like a Sony A7 III or A7S2, which is an 8-bit camera, I would recommend you to use the Sony S-Log2 LUTs, which are closely matched with the 10-bit camera's color signs. So I should show you my color management before I start with anything. I'm going to go into my settings over here and then color management. I have it set at DaVinci White RGB and I'm working in a timeline color space of DaVinci White Gamut Intermediate, and I do recommend using DaVinci White Gamut for all your projects, not just for these LUTs. And the output color space, I have it set to Rec 709A, which is because I'm working on a Mac, but if you're working from a PC, you can set it to Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. And for my 3D lookup table interpolation, you have to switch it to tetrahedral in order to have a better effect from your LUT. But if you're working on software like Premiere Pro or Final Cut, you don't really have to do these adjustments. These adjustments doesn't really apply to other software than DaVinci Resolve. So for my Note 3, you can see that I have 3 nodes to keep everything very simple, very convenient. And the first node is adjustment, the second one is base, and then the third one is creative. So if you know your ABCs, A for adjustment, B for base, and C for creative, that's all you need to do. And I have my base LUT applied here from my LUT gallery. I'm using the Visionary S-Log3 base plus 0.0. So there's 5 steps of exposure compensation here. So let's say if I feel this scene is a bit too dark, I can sacrifice the sky a bit more. Then I would just go into my maybe +1, and then I can see more of the shadow over here. So it's very easy to just go, maybe I'll need to darken it down or even more. I can just click on the LUT and it will apply. I don't have to do any adjustments over here. This is meant for maybe you want to do adjustments to the temperature, to the tint, or anything else. But this base LUT will help you achieve the exposure that you want very quickly with just a click like this. So this is a concept that I took from Kinefinity's official LUT that included a few steps of exposure to help you achieve a good starting point depending on how you expose your video. So right here I have another clip which is a bit brighter, and right now I have the base plus 0.0 applied. But if I want to darken it, I can go to the base negative 0.5 to see more of the sky. You can see the color popping out a bit more, and I can even go darker to -1. So that's about it for the exposure compensation feature, and I'm guessing that you want to see how it compares with the official CST in DaVinci Resolve. So let's do that. I'm not applying anything other than the base LUT itself, and I have a CST Note 3 built over here. Let me show you. So it's just a CST from Sony S-Log3 to Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. And I'm going to turn on my split screen and compare between still grades. So if I turn this off and make it full screen, so the blues are a bit nicer, a bit more tealish instead of a very poppy magenta that is coming from the CST on the right. And the highlights are also blending in a bit better because it has a smoother contrast curve to it. And later you see the shadows are also very smooth, which gives this faded look, but it's not too faded, and I'll show you that later. And you can also see that the greens are a bit more toned down to a more natural feeling that you get from cinema cameras. The next clip is also a big difference in the sky. which this one is a bit more digital, a bit more poppy, and this one is more natural and smooth. So this one, you can see that the sky over here comparing to over here, this one is a lot more smoother, and it smooths into this a bit teal, a bit desaturated blue instead of a very poppy blue. And the shadows are also protected, and it's a bit faded, but it's not too much in your face because this is supposedly just a conversion LUT. It's not something to give you a very punchy look or a very stylized look. So I keep everything very natural, just tweaking a bit of the colors and the dynamic range of your clip. And over here you can see a bit more of the greens, and skin tones are sitting very nicely compared to the official CST. And in this clip you can see that the shadows has this very nice smooth curve, and there's nothing wrong with a sharp look with the CST, but if you just want to slap on something and just leave it like that, just export it out, I would say the LUT helps you achieve around 90% of that without having to do anything at all, and you can eliminate the digital look. And here's another clip where you can see the smoothness of the contrast in the signboard comparing to from the CST. And even in the shadows, there are tons of details still protected. So this is something that I spend quite a lot of time to balance out, especially the colors, which I don't want to deviate too far from what it was originally shot. So I had to balance quite a lot of stuff around. This is a color checker comparing the two LUTs. And the blues from the LUT is richer and darker compared to the more purplish blue from the CST. So these are some of the key differences, even the reds and the yellows. If you're on Premiere Pro or Final Cut and you're still using a manufacturer LUTs instead of the CST, you see a very big improvement when using the visionary based LUTs. Believe me, I've experimented with all the LUTs from Sony's own cameras and even Fujifilm manufacturer LUTs, and I don't really like the outcome of it. That's why I came up with this visionary based LUTs. So that's about it for this video. I'm very excited to launch my very first LUTs, and for the next 1 month I'm gonna open a promo code for you guys, especially my YouTube subscribers, and it's gonna run for the whole month. And don't forget to hashtag visionary LUTs if you are using my LUTs to create anything. I can't wait to see what you guys can do. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.